Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
Wow. That's the update from the CDC. New guidance. That's what many people have been waiting for. It's time to take off the masks as long as you've been fully vaccinated. It's a vote of confidence to get our lives back to normal.
Yeah, we're trying to gauge how confident that you are feeling, so we posted a series of polls on our 9 News Instagram page. More than 6,000 people responding. These are some of the questions and some of the results. Do you feel comfortable walking outside without a mask? You can see a significant majority, 86%, said yes. Have you eaten inside of a restaurant? Even a higher percentage, 88% said yes, they have. Have you met friends outside without masks? And again, a higher number, now 94% saying yes. Have you gathered with friends without your mask? Still almost 90% responding yes. And have you gone to a concert or sporting event? Well, these numbers are different for sure. There are limitations on how many events there have been and as far as how many people could go to said events, but just under 30% saying yes, but 71% responding no. So we asked when people may start to see those lives get back to normal. Our 9 Health expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, is with us now for her thoughts. So you, of course, have been fully vaccinated for some time now, Dr. Kohli. Are you going to continue to wear a mask?
You know, Tom, I have to say that in most situations with people outside my home, yes, I'm going to continue to wear a mask because even though the guidelines that came out today are supported by the science, I think this transition is just a tiny bit premature when the majority of the country is not yet vaccinated. And I think the other part of this that concerns me is just that it relies on the honor system, you know, that most of us are not yet vaccinated, and who's vaccinated and who's not is really difficult to enforce and to monitor, and it might create this mask-free culture that we've already sort of been leaning towards for the last year or so, that people may feel pressure not to wear their mask even if they're not vaccinated, especially amongst our young population. And then on top of that, you layer on these new variants, which so far, thankfully, the vaccine has been reasonably effective against, but there's still new emerging variants, such as the one from India, that we don't have data on vaccine efficacy. So I think for the time being, better to play it safe than sorry, but certainly today was a monumental day suggesting that we're heading in the right direction.
I just want to jump in and ask you one more thing, because I saw today that the Yankee shortstop Gleyber Torres has now said, they say he has COVID. He's had COVID and has been vaccinated and now has COVID again. So as far as the purity of being vaccinated and it protecting you, you have to still be aware. You're talking about variants.
That's exactly right. And it's not just the variants. You could even potentially get infected with the wild type, but we are seeing these breakthrough infections in fully vaccinated people. Now, granted, they're rare and they tend to be more mild, but as we've talked about before, you know, people have ended up in the hospital that are fully vaccinated. And that is something, you know, that in the clinical trials had not emerged. So even just to protect yourself, I think we do need to keep those masks on just a little bit longer. But to your point, this is heading in the right direction. But like I said, it's just a little early.
So many people have been asking when the minute they heard this, what about kids? You know, the Pfizer shot just got approved for 12 to 15-year-olds. What does this mean for kids?
You know, Kim, that's the first thought I had as soon as I heard this from the CDC, because 12 to 15-year-olds, getting them vaccinated is going to take some time. And under 12, we don't even have a vaccine approved yet, and we're probably not going to until later this fall. So my concern is twofold when it comes to our kids. The first is when kids under 12 see that their parents are not wearing the mask, it's going to be hard to explain to them why they have to wear the mask because they're still unvaccinated and unprotected. And the second is the phenomena that we've already seen, which is that the virus shifts into whoever is susceptible. So if you have unvaccinated kids and this mask-free culture where everybody feels pressured to take their mask off, the virus may start infecting our kids more, and we know kids can have complications.
So CDC Director Walensky seemed very confident, very upbeat about this. Do you think the message that the CDC is sending by relaxing this guidance is a positive one for everyone?
It is positive, Tom, and I think that's really what drove it. It's the science that's driving this message, and they put it out early because they want the rest of those 50% of Americans to go out and get vaccinated. They want to incentivize people, show them what's possible, show them how close to normalcy we are, and I think that's the reason that this happened today, because otherwise, you know, there's nothing new, nothing magical that happened in the last week or two that really prompted this.
Yeah, and it does send that message of please get fully vaccinated. This is your freedom, if you will. We understand. All right. Well, Dr. Kohli, this is like the first thing people do when they greet each other anymore. I'm fully vaccinated. Okay, thank you. We'll see what happens.